Welcome to Stubville, the pop culture podcast, where a mildly funny guy talks to guests about all things film, television, horror, music, and more. So grab your ticket and enjoy the podcast. Remember that mildly funny guy I mentioned? Well, here he is, your host, Justin Burden.
Welcome to episode 2 of Stubville. On this week's episode, we are going to be discussing that brand new It trailer that just dropped. We're also going to be discussing, is the movie theater the best place to still see a movie, or has Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and Video On Demand completely taken over? We're also going to be discussing the Texas Frightmare Weekend Horror Convention and what you can expect from the big convention that happens every year in Dallas, Texas. I am joined by a very special guest today, Sam from the YouTube channel Halloween Happy, as well as the podcast Hanging with Halloween Happy on SoundCloud. So let's introduce Sam. Sam, how's it going?
Hey guys.
Super excited to have Sam on. This has been in the works for at least, 2, 3, maybe 4 days. So I'm very excited to have her on. We're going to be talking about a few things today. I just want to kick it off, Sam, with what everybody's talking about. If you're into the horror community at all, it's like everybody's posting about, everybody's talking about it, the It trailer.
Trailer.
Yeah, I just want to get your thoughts on it. Like, first off, were you a big fan of the Tim Curry, made-for-TV version?
Okay, so yes and no. As when I was a kid, my mom always watched that movie, and I just remember it terrifying me. It was a little long. They could have probably cut it in half. It would have been fine. The ending was kind of not that great, but I did like it. Yeah. I was afraid of it. But yeah, I was super excited for the trailer. I was so excited, all the pictures that they were posting leading up to it. And I'm never judgmental, I guess, when people start talking about movies. I just kind of wait to see it. I don't really tear it into shreds or anything like that. So I know that there were a lot of people that were like, oh, it looks so lame, yada, yada, yada. But after seeing the trailer, I was like, holy hell.
I was 110% that person before the trailer.
You were? Why?
Yeah. Well, because I am one of the biggest True Detective season 1 fans ever. I thought it was brilliant, and Cary Fukunaga or whatever his name is. I'm butchering that. But he was originally attached to direct it, and they were going to get Will Poulter to play Pennywise.
Yeah.
And I was just excited to see his vision for that movie.
Sure.
So when that fell through, I got a bad vibe. I was like, all right, well, if he left because of creative differences, it must not be good, Mm-hmm. So I was kind of skeptical of it. But today, when I saw the trailer, I was very impressed by it. It looks fantastic.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And I don't just mean it looks scary. It looks like a good scary movie. I mean, it literally, the cinematography and
yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's just,
definitely.
Yeah, and the thing, it's good to see, I think you're going to seeing a lot more of this now that Stranger Things was such a big hit, but it's good to see it, more movies that have kid protagonists again, because we haven't seen that type of stuff in a really long time. It's anything geared towards kids is, not saying it's geared towards kids, but anything,
right.
It's either animated or it's really kind of slapstick, so it's good to get back to that stuff for me personally. But it really kind of looks pretty scary to me. I thought it was, I wasn't
That's
overly.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. But
I was really excited. There were a lot of people that messaged me and they're like, did you watch the trailer yet? I'm like,
yeah.
Not yet. But then when I did, I was just kind of glued to the screen, and I don't know, I was just kind of touching my face oh my God, I can't wait.
The part where it was towards the end of the trailer where he's in the waters.
Yeah.
That scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, well, what about
weird.
when they're
I wasn't expecting it. Man.
What about when they're looking at the slides and it starts getting faster?
Yeah.
And I hate that kind of shit when they put that in scary movies. Yeah. So I was like, oh God.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I was when they just showed a picture of Pennywise at the just a still or whatever, I was kind of like, okay,
right.
this looks okay, but like I said, that mixed with the trailer and the music in the trailer was really good. I'm really excited to see the final product. So obviously that's one that we're both, I think, excited about now that I've talked to you.
Well, and two, I mean, I'm excited to I don't know if I will watch another trailer if they release it, which I'm sure there'll be a few, but I'm interested in how Pennywise is going to come off as a character and like how he's going to sound and just all of that stuff. And are you a fan of what's his face, Bill Skarsgård?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not like against him or anything.
Okay.
But
So you haven't seen what's it called? Hemlock Grove on Netflix?
no, I watched episode 1 of Hemlock Grove. I like Eli Roth films, but I just couldn't get into him or to Hemlock Grove at all. Mm-mm.
Yeah, he did really good in it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the last season of it, but I don't know if he was even in it.
He looks creepy as hell, like with the makeup and stuff. So like I'm with you though. I'm glad that they didn't show that in the trailer though. Everybody shows everything in the trailers now, so I'm glad it was.
They do, yes.
I'm glad he didn't even speak. You know, I'm glad he didn't even speak or anything. So I thought it was just the perfect trailer in terms of like getting you excited. You know, you put Stephen King's name. It's a recognizable property.
Right.
I mean, like I said, going into it, I was like, okay, whatever. You know, I'm personally tired of remakes, but if it's like this, like where they really up the production value of it, I'm pretty excited.
And since it's going to be released in theaters and it's rated R and they have more of a budget, hopefully it's going to be really good. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, me too. And that comes out, I think it's like September or something, September 8th or something.
September, yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's, you know, I wanted to start off with that because that, you know, anytime a cool trailer drops, especially something that's horror related and especially something that is still in the, you know, like you said it perfect, Sam, like with it's going to theaters, you know, because a lot of the good horror movies I've seen lately have been video on demand or like really limited release or went through the film festival circuit. And I just wanted to ask you about, you know, I know you're really into horror movies, or do you keep up with like the current, but you know, I know you watch all the horror movies, but do you try to go to the theater, make a point to go to the theater to see a good movie, or are you kind of like me where if they start making good theater horror movies, you'll probably make an appearance back at the theater?
Yeah, I mean, I prefer to go to the theater just because, I mean, the screen and the sound is a lot better than my crappy TV, and it's just, I don't know, like the atmosphere and the energy, it's more, I don't know, it's scary seeing it in a theater with people you don't know, because I'm always like, is someone going to get shot? But that's me being a paranoid freak. Or like, is there a serial killer in this theater going to kill me while I'm watching this scary movie? But yeah, I mean, there are some movies that I'll watch in theater and I'm like, holy shit, I totally could have watched that at home. But yeah, I love going to the theater. What about you?
100%, because I still remember, like, some of the most fun times I've had at a movie have been scared, like, you know, a midnight screening of, like, a really awesome horror movie. Yeah. Even if the horror movie's not great and it's just fun, it adds to it, you know? And it's funny you mentioned being scared of, like, stuff that happens in the theater. My brother once told me that he went, when Blair Witch Project first came out, he had went, and it was like just him and like one other guy in the theater, and he said it was like the scariest movie he's been to, because like at least with other people in the theater, you're like, okay, there's other people to choose from, but in that movie it was just him and like nothing behind him, so it was just very creepy. But yeah, I mean, some of the, but like I said, the best horror movies I've seen probably the past like 5 years have been stuff I've caught through video on demand or caught through, it's, you know, went through the festival circuit. I mean, it might have been through the festival circuit for like a year. Right. And so going back to it, like, I hope they continue to make, you know, and there's been kind of a resurgence, you know, with like The Conjuring and Insidious and stuff. So I hope that they continue to give some of these horror films some type of a budget, and they give directors some type of freedom, and we're not just continuously remaking, like, you know, Amityville and Poltergeist and, you know, Carrie and all these things. Like, let the directors do some more stuff, because I mean, when they do, I mean, there's been some really good horror films over the past like 5 to 10 years. Yeah,
but I feel like they don't really give them like the freedom of doing whatever they want, just because it's all about money, and the people that have more of a control, they don't really know what horror fans are looking for and what they want to see and what they appreciate. So, I mean, that part kind of sucks about it, but I'll watch whatever movie, and if it's horrible, I'm not going to, like, shit all over it. But
do you think that, you know, when you said about the money, like, I totally agree. Like, they're going to take a Poltergeist remake because it's got a name and it's going to make like that 20 million opening weekend. They can, you know, make it for 10, you know. But I don't know. I'm just a little surprised with the quality of the indie horror films. You know, I watched one the other day, The Devil's Candy. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No, I've actually heard a lot of good things about it, but I haven't watched it yet.
So good.
You liked it, or you did? Okay.
Oh, I loved it, and it was so good. And but the thing that the whole time I was thinking, I was like, you know, I wonder if this got distribution, like wide distribution. I wonder if it'd be a hit, because it's not your, like, you know, nonstop. You know, I'm not going to give anything away, so don't worry, no spoilers or even any plot development or anything. But it's not your, you know, it's a story which has horror in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not one of the, you know, it'd be a tough movie probably to market. And I think that's another thing is, like, if a movie's not, they just want to have an easy movie to market.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is if it's not easy for them, they're just going to pass it up, which is unfortunate. But I feel like with how social media is and everything like that, and how big horror is becoming, I feel like it's easier to spread the word about whatever project that you want to see come to life. And so I feel like eventually it'll get better, hopefully. I mean, I think everything's moving in the right direction, but again, it all boils down to that money.
No, exactly. It really does. And, like, you know, the one that I'll tell you, a movie that surprised me with how much it made, and we're going back a little bit, you know, a year and a half or so, but The Witch, like, I did not think that was going to I did not think people were going to go see. I thought people might go see it, you know, opening weekend.
Yeah.
But that movie was really successful, not only with, like, the horror fans, which can be very, like, tough to, you know, it's kind of like the comic book people, you know, it's really hard to please them sometimes. But I mean, a lot of people for the most part really dug that movie, and it made money. So I mean, it's weird, you know, and like It Follows, like, I thought that was pretty good, but I can't believe how big that got. Yeah, but it was just so, you know, it's weird, the ones that it's almost like a perfect storm with the ones that really kind of hit with people. And that was one that I mean, trust me, I really liked. I thought the soundtrack was brilliant on that.
Yeah.
And so I really dug, you know, I liked it quite a bit, but again, there's been other movies that I thought were awesome and just never could find an audience, you know. So it's, like I said, hopefully we see more of the you know, I won't say big budget horror films, but hopefully bigger names get attached to horror, because I just feel like that's a genre that is still, like, there's so much creativity going on with that genre still, which is really exciting if you're a fan of horror films.
Okay, well, I have a question. So since you were talking about maybe if bigger names could become attached to these projects, like, are you the type of person where, like, what bigger name are you talking about? Because sometimes I feel like when it's actors that I don't know, I feel like I can relate to them better, and I don't recognize them as anything else, so it's like a brand new character in my head. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you feel like nobody's you know, if you have Brad Pitt in your movie, you're like, oh, okay, well, he's going to be okay, you know, or he'll at least make it to the final frame, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying. Yeah, I'm the same way. It's the scariest movies I've seen have been ones where it's, like, been under the radar. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't see the trailer. But I guess I just meant, like, you know, I really like psychological horror films.
Okay.
One of my favorites two of my favorites from last year, they're totally different movies in tone, but The Invitation was just a psychological, gosh. Like, those are the ones I love. Like, ones that you don't know where it's going, you don't know what to expect. The fear is stuff you don't see. And then the exact opposite one I loved probably even more is, like, probably one of my top 5 favorite movies of last year was Green Room.
Oh, I just saw that. It was so good.
God, I loved Green Room so much. I've watched that 4 times, and it's one of those films I thought, like, okay, it's one and done. Like, I'll see it once. I really loved it, but it's one I don't know if I'll revisit. I've for some reason watched that like 3 or 4 times, and I've appreciated it more every time I've seen it. So, but that, I guess, bigger names like that, like, to me, you know, even though you know, sadly he's passed, but like Anton Yelchin, you know, those are like pretty, you know, those are big names for me.
People to have.
Yeah. I don't necessarily mean like the George Clooney's and stuff. I just don't want
like Oscar people or anything like that.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know,
but I mean, I don't think that they would do it because they probably won't get paid as much as they would doing the films that they do. So it's not like I would have to worry about that.
Yeah, the last one I can remember, I mean, that was a real big, you know, I guess you could say like maybe Silence of the Lambs when Anthony Hopkins was like a big star, but you know, I don't know. I mean, I can't remember a time where there's been like a in their prime huge actor like headlining a horror film, but maybe that's just the nature of it. Maybe that's why it's you know, it's kind of.
What about Ryan Gosling in Drive? Hello.
That's a horror film?
Sure, why not? It's like a thriller suspense. It has gore in it.
Yeah, I looked at that movie like a suspense romance for me. Like it was such a good love story for me. Yeah.
I mean, I like. You're like, I like the love story. I'm like, I liked the gore.
Well,
and
I wasn't. No, I love that too.
The blood and guts.
Yeah, I just wasn't like with a horror film. Like I wasn't expecting you to say it was a horror film because I was no point in the movie was like. Oh
I always say that though. People are like, "What?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm welcoming to all."
But you know what's cool is like that's
if you get a paper cut, it's a horror film.
Yeah, well, the cool thing about that though is like I guess people could like some movies that I'll talk to friends of mine and stuff that scared the shit out of them when they were younger weren't horror movies. It just scared like a scene scared them. So I mean, it kind of just depends on the viewer, I guess. Like something could be interpreted as scary. You know, it might not be advertised that way, but yeah. But yeah, I just hope that. I mean, like I said, I don't need big names. I just want to see the horror genre be more like. I don't want to see, even though we're excited about it and stuff, that's a different circumstance because that was a decent made-for-TV movie.
Sure.
I think the Tim Curry is like the reason people really like that.
Yeah.
That was made into a feature film. I don't want to see any more of like, you know, Poltergeist is a classic, so don't remake the classics, you know, like Carrie and all that stuff. I want to see directors get to bring their own ideas because like this generation should get their own original movies,
definitely.
You know?
Especially with like how creative everyone is these days. I feel like, I don't know, there could be some pretty good stories, I think.
Yeah, and that's what I'm excited. I mean, and another remake thing that doesn't bother me. I don't know when it's ever gonna launch, but like M. Night Shyamalan's doing like heading up the Tales from the Crypt resurgence at like TNT, I believe.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for that. I love anthology.
Oh yeah, I'm so stoked for that.
Yeah.
I loved that show when I was a kid.
Did you see? Did you see the that anthology XX?
Yes.
I can tell. I'm glad you had that face because that's I couldn't stand that movie, and I wanted to love it. I wanted to love it
too. Yeah, but no, it was. I mean, I watched it, but I was like, I really didn't understand the hype from it. I don't know, but sometimes, like, I just appreciate whatever movie I watch it for whatever it is. But that one, I was just like, yeah, I could have done without seeing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I guess
the only story I liked was the last one.
Oh, the one about the without giving it away, it was like it's kind of a spin on Rosemary's Baby a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, that one. Like I said, it was so cool, the idea of like 4 female directors, 4 female leads. Yeah. Like I was like, oh, dude, this is gonna be sweet, man. You know, because one of the directors was from The Invitation, and then they had Annie Clark, which I'm a huge St. Vincent fan, and I was like, oh god, this is gonna be cool. But it just didn't fit. Like VHS, the first VHS to me was awesome.
I freaking loved the first VHS. It was terrifying.
Yeah, and I'm a huge anthology fan because even if you don't like, 4 out of 6, there might be 2 little short, you only have to deal with it for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's not that long. Okay, so did you see Holidays?
I did. In fact,
and what'd you think?
As a whole, I didn't like it. But there was one short in there, the Father's Day short, that I thought that was one of my favorite. Like, I don't know if you can like consider it a film.
Remember,
it was when. Without giving it away for the viewers, like it's the one where the girl finds that lost audio tape of her father, and she's like listening to it.
Oh yeah.
And that was one. And I don't even know if you can call it a film because it was just a short film inside of a film. But that was one of my favorites from last year too. I mean, I thought that was absolutely great. But
okay, so I was a little disappointed with Kevin Smith's story.
Oh God, I know.
I was Kevin, come on! I was like, you're so much better than this. What happened?
And it's so weird. On the last episode, we were mentioning Justice League, and I follow Kevin Smith on Instagram and stuff, and he's like a huge like DC guy. And I love Kevin Smith. I think he makes like, even though his movies aren't like what I'd say, some of them aren't good. They're still a Kevin Smith movie. They're pretty fun. But yeah, I don't know what was going on with that one. I feel like he literally, I don't want to ever say he phoned anything in, but I think he was just like, you know what? Let me just put something ridiculous in this thing, and I'll just maybe if my name's attached to it, it might help out this these other people that are trying to get recognized,
Right.
But I was very disappointed in that short because it was Halloween and it didn't have any Halloween anything.
I know. That's the only reason I watched it.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed the other ones, but I was like, the Halloween one's going to be the best one. I already know it, but no.
Yeah.
That was not the case.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I'm with you going back to the beginning of the conversation about the theater. Like, I think that's very important. The guy who runs Alamo Draft House, the Tim League, he came out and, Netflix basically said that, I couldn't remember the exact quote. I don't want to misquote, but the Netflix CEO basically said that nobody's going to the movies anymore, basically, or like nobody wants to go to the movies anymore. And Tim Lee go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying Tim Lee basically came out and said, like, look, you're kind of, that's my business, and like, we at Alamo Draft House, we make the movie going thing and experience. And Tim Lee even finally said, like, I want to talk, like, Netflix is just pumping out content, like the stuff that filmmakers, like, we're trying to work with filmmakers and trying to get their vision across. Long story short, he's basically just saying that, like, all theaters need to kind of follow what Alamo's doing with, like, making making the movies an exciting time.
A whole experience from getting there to buying your ticket to waiting for the movie to start, watching the movie, and leaving. But see, that's the thing is, like, now people these days are just so impatient and we want. Like, after 2 minutes of something, we're like, what else can we have? What's next? Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But then you kind of have to look on the other side to the people that are working with Netflix and actually getting their movies and their projects through them. I mean, they're probably getting doors shut in their face, so they really have nowhere to go. And if Netflix is going to be like, hey, yeah, we'll produce that, we'll do that, then why not? So it's kind of, I don't know.
No, I'm with you because that's what I was thinking when I read it. I was like, look, I'm with Tim. I'm always with pro theater because I love the
of course, yeah.
I love the theater going experience. But like you said, I mean, some of these, movies, just to go back to Stranger Things, which is like the biggest hit period from last year, that those guys took it everywhere, and like Netflix is the only place that said, hey man, and so Netflix has that freedom to where even if they could have 100 shows that suck, but if they have 3 or 4 hits, they have that ability to do that. So I think that it's actually, in a weird way, Netflix is almost helping the movie theaters because the movie theaters are finally having to up their game a little bit and knock off the talking, the cell phone use.
Oh my god. See, that's another thing is like I hate when I go to the movies and people fucking talk. Like, that shit makes me so angry. I'm like, get your ass out of here. Go home and watch the freaking movie.
Yeah, and then a lot of theaters don't even do anything about it, Or, I mean, I feel like they are now because they know that that's, like, what people want, But Alamo always has awesome, like, better not talk, like, pre-movie things, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, I went to, like, an AMC locally here, and, like, everybody's going to, like, luxurious chairs. You can dine in, so they have made it a night out, which is, I think, smart because that's definitely going to, people, with how expensive movies have become now, they need to be more than just sitting and watching a movie for 2 hours.
Yeah, they need to make it worth every penny, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I think we're both in agreement on the whole thing, and I'm glad to hear what your thoughts were on that type of stuff. But I'd be upset if I didn't ask you this before, during our episode, but we both have a little trip coming up pretty soon, which I'm pretty excited about.
Rhymes with schmeckshish, schmreitschmrer.
Yeah, wow, yeah, it rhymes. In fact, it is. It's not that. It's
I know, like it's almost that. But usually when I rhyme things, it's a lot easier. That one was really tough.
Yeah, that was tough. I don't think you
really
anticipated it. Like
I didn't.
But you already committed though, so I appreciate the gusto.
I did, yeah, I did. But yes, we're going to Texas Frightmare.
Yeah.
Which you've been before, right?
I went last year for the first time, and I was so unprepared for how much fun I was going to have. I went...
Did you go by yourself?
No, I went with a buddy of mine, and I had kind of talked him into going. I was like, dude, can you just go, man? I just need somebody to go with.
Me.
Come on, man. And so we went. We both had a blast. Like, we ended up, like, they had, what I was super surprised at, because I've been to other cons and it's really family friendly, and this one was really geared towards people, our age, like, 20, 30, 40, not that we're 30 or 40, but, or 40 or whatever, but, it's geared towards like young adults to adults, and even
we're 23.
Yeah. 18 to 25. But that's the cool thing about it is like it's almost like a party. It's like a nonstop party. Like it's I'm not saying but it's just like you get your convention, everybody's really laid back. You can walk up to anybody. Like there's celebrities are just walking around. The way it's set up is just very friendly and very just open. And then once you're done meeting everybody, they have like official after parties and stuff like that. So it's just a really fun time. And there's not a ton of just, they're starting to grow like horror conventions, and I haven't been to any other ones, but even people that I've talked to that, have been to a lot of them say that this one's like their favorite one. This year, I actually know people that are going, like I know you, Sam, and I know a couple of other YouTubers, a couple of other podcasters, people I've met through the horror community, which is going to make it even better because now I'm going to have people to meet and talk to and have a few brews with.
Hang out with,
Yeah, so, I'm super pumped about it, and
I am too.
I mean, I'm more excited about meeting everybody. Like, actually, I've talked to you a bunch on like the phone and through social media.
Yeah.
This will be the first time me and Sam have met, like in person. So it's pretty exciting. And so I'll say over or under like 20 minutes, she'll be doing impressions of me, which will be very fun for everybody involved.
Exactly.
But we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited about it. Who are you most excited to? What'd you say? Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I was just saying, people are like, who are you excited to meet? What celebrity? And it's like, I'm going to hang out with my friends. Like, I think it's cool that the celebrities are there, but I'm not like, oh, I need to meet this person, yada, yada, yada. But I would like to get a photo op with the sexy guys from Bates Motel.
Yeah, that's by far the number one thing on my to-do list is... Yeah, because Bates Motel is one of my favorite shows. And Nestor Carbonell, the guy who plays Sheriff Romero for people listening, he was on my all-time favorite show, which is Lost, and so I can't wait to meet him. And now they just announced Freddie Highmore. So just for people
I'm so excited for him.
Yeah, and just for people that are listening, like they got a really good line. They got like a few people from Bates Motel. They have like a 40th anniversary of Suspiria. They're gonna have The Thing, like a 35. No Kurt Russell, but a lot of people from The Thing, like a 35th anniversary for that. I know I'm leaving some people out, but a pretty good. But like you said, Sam, like. I can honestly say the most excited part of it is like not only to meet everybody, but just hanging out would be more exciting to me than just meeting the celebrities. Like that's what I'm most excited about for that. So if you've never been to a horror convention and you're into horror, I really recommend going because you'll meet not only will you meet a lot of people, but you'll also like you don't like the vendors and stuff. They have different stuff than you see it. I've been to other Comic-Cons and there's no horror things at any of the Comic-Cons, but at a horror convention like that, it's like a dream come true for like horror fans. So I'd highly recommend it. But yeah, so that'll be May 5th through 7th. And like Sam said, if you're going, and you see us, say hey, because we'll
say, hey man.
You're gonna be vlogging it, right? Like you'll be vlogging the trip.
Yeah, I'm gonna be vlogging, jogging, hogging some tequila.
Yeah, I'm with Sam though. I can't wait to like just be there and just see a bunch of people. So like, if a lot of the YouTubers that are within the horror community, that are with the I guess you could say like maybe geek community, just fun community really. Super nice people. I can honestly say I have not met one person that's been like an asshole to me. So like it's just really cool. Like I think people, especially the reason I keep mentioning horror is because I feel like sometimes maybe that gets like, people are a little intimidated because like of the subject matter. But like, man, super, super nice people. Like seriously, like everybody I've met's been super cool.
Super friendly. Yeah.
And if you don't know, Sam has, a lot of you probably do, but if you don't, Sam actually has a Halloween Happy as your YouTube channel. Yeah. And Sam, I just want you to talk a little bit about that because I really like it. It's like, if you're a Halloween nut, even if you're not into horror, that's like I know we keep talking about horror, but if you're just into Halloween and you don't even like scary movies, Sam's like the channel because she is like Halloween year round. So will you tell a little bit, just for people that might not know about your channel, do you want to just like maybe plug it a little bit?
So like Justin said, it's called Halloween Happy. It's on YouTube. I don't know. I kind of do whatever, I guess. Like, sometimes I'll talk about just like Halloween stories. I do annual Halloween parties and I kind of vlog that. I do Vlogoween, which is vlogging every day for the month of October. I do like Halloween hauls. I buy tons of Halloween stuff and I show everyone what I got. I do like party decorating tips and stuff like that and craft videos of Halloween stuff, just all sorts of stuff. So you should check it out.
And if you're like me, anytime it gets to like dead heat of summer, usually I get the Halloween blue, like I get the itch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like June and like July, I'm like, God, like when the heat gets me, it's like I got to get to Halloween, I got to get to October.
I know. It's like, when is fall here?
Yeah, but I know you're like me, Sam, like you want it to last so long and it goes by so fast every year. It's like, you look forward to it all year and it's so fast. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why you should check out my channel because it's Halloween every day, pretty much.
What's you got a tagline for it? It's like Halloween, like it's 24/7, 365 or something.
No, that's not it. But thank you though.
I'm a big watcher of the channel.
It's Halloween Happy, where Halloween is more than just once a year, which really means it's every day. But I feel like everyone says that, so I couldn't use that.
No, and that's unique and that's great. And it was so good that I remembered it word for word just now.
You did. Yep.
So that was great.
Yeah, you had it written down in your notes.
Yeah, but Sam, honestly, I'm so happy you came on. I'm so Halloween happy you came on the show today because I needed your presence today, and I love getting your opinion on stuff. And without sounding overly like I'm trying to hype up Sam, like I met Sam like I don't know. It's like
a few months ago, I think.
Yeah. And she's just really cool, always been really nice and supportive. And, I have a YouTube channel. I just launched the podcast. She was kind enough to come on. Like, one of the first people I asked to come on, and she was like, just immediately was like, yeah. I mean, so Sam's one of those type of people that's just really cool and really supportive. So please do check out her channel if you're into that stuff. And she also has and tell them about you have a podcast as well that you're about to start ramping up again. The Hanging with Halloween Happy podcast.
Yeah. So I started a Halloween Happy podcast like in November, I think. And recently I just took a break because I was in the process of moving and life just kind of got in the way. But yeah, like my last two guests that you guys probably would know is Josh Hasty, which is a filmmaker. He's making the film Candy Corn, which if you are in the horror community, you probably heard buttloads about this film. And then also Butch Bondro from Butch-O-Vision, if you're into like pins and jackets and all sorts of cool stuff. So yeah, you should check it out. It's on SoundCloud. Again, it's called Hanging with Halloween Happy.
This has been episode 2 of the Stubville podcast. A special thank you once again to Sam from the YouTube channel Halloween Happy, as well as the Hanging with Halloween Happy podcast on SoundCloud right now. Don't forget that every Tuesday we'll be bringing you new episodes of the Stubville podcast, and make sure to follow us on social media for updates, guest announcements, and much more at Twitter at Stubville Pod, Instagram at Stubville Podcast, and on Facebook at Stubville. Thank you once again for tuning in, and I hope you will join us next week for a brand new episode of Stubville. Thank you and have a great day.